All right, let's mute the mics. Join your palms at the center of your chest. Let your eyes close. Take a deeper inhalation. Bow your head down. Release your hands onto your lap. Good evening, Patty. Welcome. We're just starting. All right. To begin with, let's put a blanket. So, Patty, today we're doing more therapeutic-minded class. Let's take a blanket and have it folded like so for your back behind your knees. So as you kneel, put the blanket right into the back of your knees. I like to use 2 blocks on my hands for this one. If you have the extra block, do that too. If you only have one though, then leave that only one for support of your head. You see, I have 1 for my forehead and 2 for my hands. Adho Mukha Virasana. First, sit down as far down as you can so that your spine is sort of level, parallel to the floor, to the ceiling, and then extending the arms. Rest your head on the wall. Adho Mukha Virasana or Yoga Nidrasana. The pose has several names. Balasana. The breath be smooth and breathe from the side ribs, and then keep bringing your back dorsal spine and your back ribs to meet the front ribs. Back rib toward the front rib. Good. Then from here, you're going to slowly elevate yourself back up to seated. And then take Dandasana. So you're going to come up and take a seated pose. Dandasana. If your arms are longer slightly than your torso, which is my case, take your hands back a little bit more. So that when you extend your hands and arms into the floor completely, and you push, your shoulders should not rise higher than they naturally when you're standing. So draw your shoulders back and lift the torso. And then keep lifting the back ribs up toward the shoulder blades forward, chest well lifted, pelvis, pubic perpendicular. Now look at your knees, pay attention to your kneecaps, keep all 4 corners of the knees parallel and well pressed into the floor. And then if your knees have a gap, big more than 1 finger width, put a blanket rolled up under your knees. In fact, not only Dave, if anybody else has that gap. So you see what I'm doing? This is therapeutic for the knees, so that they actually have a sense of touching something. Because normally if the knees do not touch, it's quite unsettling and it's not very relaxing for the knees to constantly be in that position where they're not able to touch and extend completely. So what the blanket underneath provides is that sensation of fully extending the leg. And then eventually the roll of the blanket becomes lesser and lesser until you're able to completely straighten them up or not, but at least you feel like the leg is fully extended. All right, now maintaining the pose. Hold on, Leslie. Raise your arms up overhead into Urdhva Hastasana. Arms straight up. Still seated in Dandasana. Palms facing one another. And again, continue lifting your back ribs. Now, hook your two thumbs and pulling one thumb against the other. Look up. Keeping your legs pressed into the floor. Inhale. And exhale, go forward. Bend your knees. And take hold of the backs of your thighs. So you're holding the back of your legs now. But keep leaning forward slightly more so that you come in the front of your sitting bones, more in the front. Okay, then from here, recline back. And now you're sitting on the center of your body bones, and also you'll feel the coccyx. So you're balancing on the 3 points, 2 sit bones and your coccyx. We're going into Paripurna Navasana. So this pose is actually to strengthen our lower back. So slowly, keep your legs bent, raise your feet to the eye level, so your toes are basically level of your eyes. And then again, pulling the legs in towards you, bring your chest, your dorsal spine toward your legs. So there's a sense of almost a concave, almost a back extension, as opposed to rounding the back and collapsing the back. Good, now, if you can, begin to straighten the legs. And you can keep holding onto your legs. If this is difficult to do, then take the belt and use the belt to straighten your legs. Another way to do it. Paripurna Navasana with support. So you can do this. Fully extend those legs and you're balancing. And again, lift the front spine. Keep the front spine long and tall. Don't let it shorten. Good. If you're doing without support, come back down, bend your knees, and return back to the floor. If you're doing with support, also come down. Take Dandasana. Take a rest. Do all of you have a long belt? If you don't, if your belt is not so long, if you make a loop, look, with the one belt, and you check and the loop is shorter than your leg, like you see, my belt is basically just the length of my leg, but you need it to be longer than your belt, than your leg. In that case, take 2 belts and link up one belt with the other to be able to make a larger loop. You need to make it like at least 1 1/4 length of your leg, the entire leg, 1 1/4 longer. And watch what I'm going to do next. Once you have that loop, so you can still make your loop and then see. I'm going to turn around again. So you can have the side view. I'm placing the belt underneath my armpits so that in the back, it's going onto my middle shoulder blades, the lower part of my scapula. Then from there, I'm going to bend my knees and place the feet into the loop. I want to have my feet slightly separate, my feet a little bit apart. Okay, then from there, I'm going to lean back and extend my legs into, again, that Paripurna Navasana-like work. But this is more like Ubhaya Padangushtasana now. See? This is with support. You can even let go of the belt at this point. You don't have to hold it anymore. And then retracting your arms into the shoulder sockets. Push the feet forward. Keep your feet pointing and extending the ball of the big toe ahead. So don't overly flex your toes like that, because then you're overextending the back of the leg. You need to extend the inner part of the thigh. And you'll feel like it's actually quite nice. Almost becomes effortless. It really becomes like a buoyant boat. The feeling should feel like you're truly like a boat. Gita Iyengar would describe the pose in her book that this pose, you should feel like a boat floating on the sea. And the boat is engineered in such a way that you feel light and you can be able to stay in the pose and balance without a lot of endeavor. So use the belt to get a sense of lightness. And if you don't have such a long belt, then just keep holding it with, like I showed the first one, with just one belt around the soles of the feet and hold on to the belt. That's fine.
Breathe. Leslie, the belt has to be higher than your lower back. Has to be higher. It's not long enough, yeah? Can you lift it any higher than your lumbar? More towards your bra line. Yes, right there. And it's okay if the legs don't completely straighten. That's fine. Lift the chest. There you go. It's like camping chair style Navasana, isn't it? Self-supporting. Breathe. And Dave, is two legs inside not possible? Is the belt not big enough, right? Try to get both of them inside. And then eventually the feet will touch one another. But that's why I asked you first separate your feet a little bit so they're not jamming into each other. The big toe mounts should not cram. Good. Whenever you have to leave the pose, leave the pose, come down. Marianne, head back a little bit. Tilt your head back slightly more. Yeah, so the torso should be like Dandasana. This is like Dandasana and this is Dandasana, right? And so all you're doing is you're kind of inverting Dandasana into a 45-degree angle into this now. You see, right? Think of Dandasana like this, and then you're lifting and you're balancing in your sit bones and your sacrum. Straighten those knees. Okay, and then come down. All right, so now let us take a rolled blanket. Take one blanket and roll it up. The short side of the blanket. So don't roll it the narrow way. This is the narrow and thin. Go the broad and short like this. I mean, not the broad, but the narrow and the short. So you make it thicker roll. Okay. Once you make the roll, put it back on the mat. Now we're taking the pose with or without the belt. So you can choose to stick with your belt if you need to, but if you want to challenge your core a little bit, your strength, do without the belt. So with the belt or without, but watch, I'm sitting close to the roll blanket, close to it. And when I go back, my arms are going back if I'm without the belt. And I'm feeling, I'm touching that roll blanket. I need to move my dorsal and my back ribs in away from the blanket. So the blanket is not for me to rest on it. It's not to collapse. It's to remind me to keep that back ribs and back shoulder, back chest lifting, and then extend the legs, and then maybe extend the arms. So the blanket is just now acting as a reminder. Paripurna Navasana. Go ahead, go up. And if you need to use the belt, by all means, keep using it. Breathe, lift your sternum, keep your head back. Remember, your torso and your neck is part of your torso, should be like this. So don't let your head get ahead of you like this. So your head has to get slightly tilted back. Yes, more. Much better. Breathe. Extend the big toe mounts. That's it, David. More. Extend those big toe mounts. Good. Okay, Dandasana. Sit back on the floor. Straighten the legs on the ground. And now from Dandasana, let's take Padangusthasana, a variation of Paschimottanasana. So you're not going all the way down. You're just going to reach up with the arms, separate your feet a little bit, use your first and middle finger, and reach around your big toes. Lift the chest and make a concave spine. And then keep pulling up. If your back rounds, then please use a strap instead. So if you feel like your back is doing this, it's becoming like a dome shape, so you're better off than not holding the toes, but holding the belt instead. And then draw your back ribs forward, in and up. So still concave back, body still up, back is straight, yes. So we're working on our organic body from the back moving toward the front. So really bring this awareness of this back of your torso forward. Imagine I put my hands on your back, or I put my feet upon your back and I did this to your back. Moved it in from behind you. Yeah, so keep moving it in. Very good. All right, and then release, let go of your legs. Lie down for a few moments. Take a little break, a short shavasana, just for 30 seconds or so. And down, recover. Good. And then whenever you're ready, keep your back on the floor. Your hands can come down on by your sides now. Palms stay down. Next is the 90-degree angle leg pose. So Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. So bend your knees in towards you and straighten the legs up above your hips. Hold that 90-degree angle with the legs. That's it. Legs are up. Spread your toes. Rotate your outer shoulders toward the floor and be sure that your lumbar is still long and is still touching the surface of the floor. And now we're going to do a few angles, changing the angle from 90 degree to 75 to 60 to 45, etc. So inhale and exhale, lower the legs about 15 degrees down to 75. Maintain the length of the lower back. Keep your abdomen moving down toward the spine, descending. Inhale again. Exhale as you bring the legs down to 60 degrees. Hold. Keep extending out through the big toe. Inhale. Exhale, go down another 15 degrees to 45. Hold. The legs slightly internally rotate, slightly to keep them neutral. Inhale, return back to higher than 90, up to 100 degrees. So to really reset the lower back onto the floor and sacrum, top sacrum touching now, and then return back to 90. Inhale, exhale. Now we go at the bigger gaps right away to 60. Exhale. And then hold it at 60. Shoulders on the floor, please. Relax your throat, relax your face. Inhale again. Exhale, go down to 30. So half of the 60. Keep extending the legs, point your toes. Inhale up to 100. And then bend your knees and lower your soles of the feet to the floor. Rest for a few moments. Now watch the next one you're going to do. The next one is a few series of more dynamic ones. So you won't be just holding it statically anymore. You're going to be moving on each breath. So have a look. This time I start by bending my legs. I'm bringing my arms overhead. And once my arms are overhead, I want to lift my legs up and lift my arms up at the same time. My legs are a little bit closer to my arms than 90. So it's closer again to that 100 degrees so that I can reach and touch my top of my feet with my hands. So there's a protraction of the arms, full extension of the arms from the joint. So arms will appear very long. And then watch. So from here, I'm going to inhale as I lower my limbs, my torso, my arms and legs to the floor. And as I exhale, I bring it back up. Inhale, keep the legs, arms straight. Exhale. It is even better that you don't touch the floor, but you get as near as you can. Inhale, exhale. Notice my head is also rising. Exhale. Come on, everybody. Let's try to do 5, and then if you do well, goes well, we'll do another 5. Okay? Begin whenever you're ready. Bend your knees to start. And then inhale, bring your arms up towards the starting position, towards the toes. And now to come down, you're going to inhale and lower both simultaneously at the same time. Legs, arms, torso. Exhale, bring it back up, lift your head up too. Lift your head, Patti, lift your head. Look at your feet, that's it, at your knees. Inhale, down. Exhale, lift, rise. The challenge is to keep the legs straight. That's the most difficult part. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. I think that's 4 or 5. I lost count, sorry. Do a few more until you lose your count. Keep going. This is a very warming asana work, dynamic work. There you go. Notice if your neck is getting tense. It means you're trying too hard to do too much from your neck and head.
Do more from the shoulders, from the abs, from the legs. Hip flexors have to do more. Okay, last one or two, just in case. And then once you feel you can't quite do any more, come down and rest. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Arlena, how did that feel on your lower back? It's good, right? Isn't it? Abdominals are one of the best ones that I go to for lumbar pain, lumbago, any kind of lower back. Because why? It strengthens our back, right? It puts our vertebra in place. It's almost like it's as good as going to a chiropractor. You can fix yourself, right? Okay, let's turn ourselves around and then take hands, knees on the floor and take downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Notice the contrast from the abdominal poses, but even here too, the abdomen has to rise. Side ribs long. Now lengthen the spinal column. Push the heels away from the floor first. Get as much length as you can out of your body. And then keep the length of the spine as you begin to descend down your heels. But buttocks keep going up and back, away from the shoulders. Shoulder blades stretch. Arms extend. Press into the palms of your hands. Press into the mounds of your fingers. Now, once your heels have come down, try to actually slightly lift your toes. Slightly lift your toes from the floor. Notice which toes tend to lift faster, the little toe side or the big toe side. Try not to favor one or the other. Good. Release your toes. And then walk the feet in halfway towards your palms. Stop with the feet are right under your hips, perpendicular legs, Ardha Uttanasana. Now lift the palms beyond the tips of your fingers, cup-shaped hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Half pose. Breathe. Keep looking straight ahead. Keep lengthening the front of the chest, in front of the spine. Good. And then hands to your hips, inhale and come up. Come to standing, everyone. Okay, we're going to do a couple of poses on our feet next. So come to standing, please. Tadasana.
Vlad, we can't see you.
Really? I thought my screen is highlighted.
I can see you.
I can see you too. Who cannot see me still? Only Sayara and Dave. Refresh your screen, Sayara. Click again, maybe try to move it around from image to image, because on my computer it shows my screen selected. I don't know why, sometimes it keeps happening. It has to do with the speed, with the Zoom speed and all that, and traffic, I guess.
Yeah.
Still not showing me? I'm in Tadasana. Let me know when you do see me. Okay, we're going to take our legs apart, guys.
No, we see, I think, Arlena.
Okay, Arlena is a pretty good model, so you just keep looking at her until this picture switches back. So, Arlena, do as I do, Arlena, because otherwise we'll be lost. Be a good student now, because now David say, are you following you? Okay.
Yes.
Extend your arms. Pita Hasta Padasana, everyone. So extend fully the arms, lift the kneecaps, lift the fronts of the thighs. Notice what's happening in your pelvis. Here too, sometimes we're not aware of this. There's a tendency to kind of stick our tailbone out. So let's put our hands on our hips for a moment. And with your thumbs, find the top of your sacrum. There's like two dimples on the top of our sacrum here. And gently draw it downwards. And as you do that, lift a little bit the pubic plate up. So pubis up and the top of the buttocks, top of the sacrum down, so that you feel that the pelvis is completely upright, perpendicular. To some of you, it will feel almost unnatural, especially those of you who like to stick your tailbone out. Right? Don't overdo it, obviously. Don't overly tuck, but just make it parallel. Okay, now extend the arms again and maintain that. Notice if your legs feel a little bit more engaged now because of that. Because when they stick our tailbone out,
then our legs sort of fall in, they collapse. So lift the fronts of the thighs, turn your left toes slightly in, bend your right knee slightly out, and then rotate the leg to the right. Triangle pose is next. Inhale, exhale, reach out, keep the abdomen moving back, hollow abdomen. Right hand comes down, left arm comes up. Now, look and see that your right foot and ankle is to your satisfaction as upright as it can be, and be suspicious of your heel more so than your toes. It's the heel that likes to collapse on the outside. So stare at your right outer heel and see if it's collapsing. Press the outer ankle towards your inner right ankle. You can even use your right thumb to do so. Okay, then turn your head to look up at the top arm. Keep the kneecaps pulling tight. In Iyengar's words in Light and Yoga, he says, keep the knees and legs straight and poker stiff. In Trikonasana, everything is extended and firm. There's certain tension in the legs and the kneecaps. Good. Inhale and come up. Parallel your 2 feet. Turning around to the other side. Right foot turns in, left leg to the left. Extend your arms again. Inhale. Exhale. Reach out, but continuously work with the legs so the legs are not tamasic. They're not just hanging out there, so that you're not sitting on your joints of your knees or ankles, but you're standing on your feet. And again, look at that left foot now, the one that's in front. See, is the ankle and your heel upright? Is it in Tadasana or is it tilting to the outside towards the little toe side? Redirect the pressure towards the big toe side, then turning from the chest, look up at the right arm. Keep extending, lengthening the neck of the left big toe. Sternum up. Inhale, rise from the right arm to come out. Parallel your 2 feet. Tadasana. Jump or step the legs back in together. So I'm going to pull a little bit closer my screen so you guys can see a little bit more my leg. Can you see my foot or is it too far? Maybe I should put the computer down. Okay, now you have a close-up view of my foot. Yes? Have a look. This is Trikonasana. This is what I was talking about. Oftentimes what happens is, and I'm going to turn in a moment so you get to see from the other angle. When we go into the pose, look here. I'll turn slightly so you can see. When we go into the pose, this happens. The pressure increases here and it decreases here, right? So we go into the pose and then this happens. You see, and even now big toe comes up. That's a sign that this has happened. So what I was saying is that you have to be careful and then draw the outer ankle has to come in to meet the inner ankle, right? So this has to stay in Tadasana. See, if your feet in Tadasana together, you see there's no collapsing like this, right? But in Trikonasana, our front foot likes to do that. It likes to collapse. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, let's do that one more time and be very, very careful with the front foot. Be very particular about it today, because that has to do with your knees too. It starts with our ankles. The bad habits form from the feet. Okay, take the legs apart. Turn to your right one more time. Left toes in, right leg out. Then extending the arms. Reach out and then go ahead and reach and take the pose. Put your right hand on your ankle. We're not using the blocks today. Now look and stare at that right foot. I just asked you to look at my foot. Now do the same thing with your leg. Press from the outer ankle towards the inner ankle so that your right foot is completely upright and your right big toe isn't tempted to come up. Press the big toe down. Press the big toe, neck of the big toe down. Good. So slightly internally rotate your outer shin in, and yet rotate the inner thigh from inside towards the outside. So there's a counter rotation going on, and the lower leg from the down from the knee toward the foot, it should actually rotate in a little bit. From above the knee, from the femur head out. Now the back leg I haven't talked about much. Press the outer rim of the left foot more and lift the arch of your left foot.
the back foot. You should do the opposite of what the front foot is doing. Okay, inhale and come up whenever you're ready to come up. All right. Is it interesting for you guys? Is it making sense to all of you? Yes, I'm not just boring you, right? All right, let's do the other side. To the left, good, I'm glad. All right, turn your right foot in, left leg out.
Vlad, we are doing the same movement when we are turning our thorax to the up, because when I turn my thorax up, I do the same movement with my legs naturally.
Okay, good. I'm happy that it works for you that way.
I was thinking about it just.
Yeah. Well, they are connected. These are links. That's why we do say that turn the chest up to help you do that with the foot. But again, sometimes maybe we're not aware of it. So that's why I'm asking you to really pay attention to the feet now. But yes, as we turn our thorax upwards, it will help you correct also the feet. All right, let's enter on the left side. Right toes turn in a little bit to the inside. Left leg rotate completely out to the left. Extend, reach out, take your hand under your ankle. Hold onto your ankle. Press on it, but at the same time, lift the chest up away from the ankle and lengthen towards the top of your head. See that your left foot is upright. If it needs to be adjusted, corrected, go ahead and do that. Manually make the adjustment with your hand. So guide it, the outer ankle towards the inner ankle to keep that left foot upright. Then turn your head slowly to see the ceiling towards the right arm. That's it, Patty. Turn your hand more towards the outer left ankle, Patty. More, not your big toe, but hold your shin, actually, your ankle, like this, Patty. And push into your leg. That's it. Now press the outer rim of your entire right foot. More than the inner foot. Inhale and come up. Parallel your 2 feet. Join your feet in center, Tadasana. Okay, so now, talking about the lower back now. So don't forget the work we just did, but this time we're going to use the block. So don't forget the work we just done. The feet are still important, the alignment of the feet. And now I'm going to come down and then bend my front leg and also bend my back leg a little bit. As I do that, I'm going to externally rotate both of my legs out, external rotation. So from inside towards the outside, from inside towards the outside. With my block high, I'm going to keep this hand here for now. And as I straighten my legs, I continually rotate my legs out and I keep moving my middle sacrum forward toward my pubis. So I want this to come in. And yet I want this thigh to go back. Then I take my arm up and I finish the pose. Okay, so this is a higher triangle, higher pose. Because you're on a high block. So we're working on the sacrum and the lumbar now. All right, so step the legs apart. Take the block high. Turn your feet towards your right side. Okay, lengthening up through the top of your head, reach out to your right. Place your hand now on the upright block. For now, lower your left palm on top of your left hip. Look at your right foot, make sure it's upright. Bend both the knees, right and left, similar amount. Now, with your left thumb still on your sacrum, left thumb is at the top of that left side of your sacrum, drive down your sacrum down and forward. With your thumb, drive your sacrum forward, bend both knees, Alyssa, left one also. Good, now externally rotating both legs, but yet keep pressing the mount of the right big toe on the floor. Don't let that become light. Now start straightening the legs, and as you straighten the legs, press the left front thigh back, front of the left femur back, and the right sit bone, right buttock, and sacrum forward. Straighten your legs. Now take the top arm up whenever you're ready to do so. Turn your head to see the top arm. Breathe. Okay, bend the leg, come up and out to come up. from the left arm. Parallel both feet. Let's move your block over to your next side. Uttita Trikonasana. Dave, can you guys see me now, or are you still on Arlena? Huh?
We are still on Arlena, but we went to panoramas
Okay, that's fine.
everybody.
All right, well, she's doing fine. She's still doing the same thing I'm doing. Okay, let's turn around, go to the left, everybody. So extend your arms, inhale, exhale, reach out, take your hand onto your block. Take your other hand on your hip. Good. Bend both knees, a little bit, not very much. Bending both legs. Move your sacrum, middle of your sacrum, forward toward the pubis. At the same time, keep externally rotating both legs. As you start straightening the legs, draw up from the outer part of your knee to the outer thigh. And keep gripping the outer glutes, especially the left one. The glutes should become narrow. The buttocks narrow, so the front of the pelvis can become open and broad here. Tailbone in now. Pressing into your bottom arm, raise your top. And look at it. Turn your chest toward the ceiling, like Ahmed was saying. Turn your torso, your thorax, to be able to feel more alignment in the feet as well, not only the chest. See what the connection is between that of the turning of the torso and the legs. Inhale and come up. Parallel the 2 feet and join your legs back together. Tadasana. Okay, I'm going to turn the screen around. You're going to use one of your rolled up blanket that you had used before and place that at the wall. I need to turn my mat around too. So put the rolled up blanket right up and feel the space where the floor and the wall meet up. Okay, and then watch. Uttita Parshva Konasana. I'm going to carefully step the legs and carefully take my back foot on top of that roll. You can see it's right on the blanket. The other leg is, of course, is bending into a 90-degree angle. Then from there, I'm going to press my back leg heel into the rolled blanket, flex my toes away from the blanket. I don't know if you can see my foot, but I'm lifting my toes from the blanket. And then this arm comes up, first lift it like a shape of a cross. 2 arms are like Trikonasana. And then turn the arm, bring it overhead, and keep pressing that back heel into the blanket and extend the arm and torso away from that blanket. So you'll feel quite a lot of engaging in your legs, quite a lot of work happening there in your hips, buttocks, thighs. Go ahead. Put your left foot at some wall that you can find. Step your right leg forward, have a break for your outside of your right foot. Extend your arms. And then enter the pose. Bend your front leg into a 90-degree angle, go close to 90. And now push really strongly your left foot into that rolled up blanket. And then flexing your toes of the left foot, lift your toes and even try to lift the ball of your toes off the blanket slightly. With your right arm, you're pushing the block. Marianne, bend your right leg a little bit more. Lower your pelvis. Yes. Now raise your top arm, lift it up high like Trikonasana. Then turn the left arm from the shoulder blade and bring it overhead. Now keep lengthening, don't stop. The movement may cease, may stop, but your action should not stop. You're still moving away from that left heel, which is pushing very vigorously, very strongly into the wall, into the blanket. Like you're trying to squeeze everything out of that blanket. Imagine the blanket had some soaked water on it. It's soaked water. You want to squeeze the water out of the blanket, make it dry.
Good. Inhale and come up and out. Carefully come off the blanket. Bring your legs together. Tadasana. You guys feel that in your back? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Here too, around there. Yeah. Let's turn around. Take the other side. Same thing, nothing new to add. Bend your front leg as you slowly, systematically push the heel more than your toes, more the ball of the foot less. Take the top arm up, lift it up, turn the arm, bring it overhead, and keep flexing your left toes toward you as if you're trying to touch your tibia with your left toes. And extend the left side of the torso and arm away from that left leg. The left leg will be working a lot. The right inner leg should actually, the left, right, which leg? Some of you have right, some of you have left. Anyway, the front leg should be soft on the inner groin. Should be relaxing, actually, strangely enough. The back leg is going to be working a lot harder than the front leg here. Okay, come up and out. Carefully step off the blanket. Let's take Uttanasana. You can stay close to the wall, about 1 foot distance from the wall. So you see my pelvis is reclining to the wall. I'm going to elevate and pull the back flesh of my buttocks up pretty high. And then from there, with my hands, slide down my legs and then walk my hands forward, as far forward as I can to release my back. Then I hold my elbows and let my torso go. Legs are straight now. Go ahead. Uttanasana, reclining on support. So buttocks stay up on the wall, like you glued them onto the wall. Pati, take your leg even farther from the wall, a little bit more forward. Más adelante, los pies, más. 30 centímetros entre los talones y la pared. Eso es. Elongate the torso, buttocks stay on the wall. So you're reclining to the wall, your buttocks are pushing back. Your arms are extending forward, and then eventually clasp your elbows and let your upper body hang. Imagine that you have attached several weights, like a few pounds or 5 kilos on each elbow, weighing you down. Release the base of the skull, the back posterior where the occipital ridge and the neck meets. Good. Then with your hands now released, put them on your upper front thighs. Look up and come up halfway. And then stand up all the way. And then stand straight in yourself. Tadasana. Now, you can go to the wall and work holding on with one hand to the wall. You can also stand with your back near the wall, but don't be so close that you're leaning against it. This is not what my point is. So don't be so dependent on the wall. You're going to need a belt for this next one. So take your belt and make a loop with it. If it's already the loop, that's great. Then double your loop. So you see, I'm doubling it now. So for most of us, double works okay, pretty good. For some of you who are quite limber, triple it. If you know your Supta Padangushtasana is pretty good, you have pretty good control of your leg without the belt normally, triple the belt. So have a look. You're going to stand on one leg, you're going to raise your other leg, bend the knee, and then place the strap. So your foot is like the stirrup for a horse saddle. So you put your foot inside that stirrup, and as you raise the knee, be careful not to raise your hips. So don't do this. See, I'm going to turn around so you can see me from this side. When I raise my leg, oftentimes this hip rises and kicks out to the side.
So you have to, the action is outer knee to the outer hip. So as I hold my strap with my hand with it, I draw my outer thigh down. Did you see that action? Not this. Hip down, and then maintain that, this front hand on this front thigh, or to the wall. I slowly start taking the leg out to the side. Utthita Paradusthasana, but again, I'm careful not to do this. I draw the outer knee to the outer hip. Okay? You can also even put your foot to the wall if you need to. Okay, go ahead. Right leg is first. Put your foot into the loop, hold the loop with your whole 4 fingers inside it. Flex your right foot, raise your right knee up, but don't let the right hip come out. Good, now put your left hand in the front of your left thigh, push your left front thigh back, and now raise your right foot in front of your chest, extending the leg any amount in front of your waist. Breathing. Now, if the pose is a little wobbly, you would use the wall. Careful with that bottom foot. Your Tadasana foot is what keeps you in balance. Breathe. And now bend the front leg and slowly bring it back to the floor. Take it off the strap. Tadasana. Other side. Pick up your left leg. Hold the strap. The other hand could be at your hip or at the front of your left thigh. Oh, the right thigh, sorry. And then extend slowly. Bend your leg first. As you bend your leg, draw the outer hip down. And slowly bring the left foot in front of you. Shoulder back. Left shoulder back and down. Push the ball of the foot up, forward. Remember the work we did at the start of the class. This is very similar. Similar work when we were extending the 2 feet into the belt. We were balancing on our 2 sit bones. Breathe, lift the sternum. Good, lower the leg, bend your knee, descend your foot. Tadasana. Okay, so now we're going to sit down and we're going to take a Karna Dhanurasana. I'm turning my setup around again. Keep your belt handy because you're going to use it again. So don't put it away. Put the belt double looped around your 1 foot and hold that belt with 1 hand. So same hand, same foot. Good, then bend your other leg and then take with your first 2 fingers, grab hold of around your big toe and then lift your right foot, whichever foot first, and then bend your leg and bring your knee back behind you. You keep holding the other foot with the strap. Try to bring your hand to your ear, your thumb towards your right ear. Lift the sternum. Rotate your chest a little bit towards the bending leg, and then bring the leg forward again. Same leg one more time. Second time, same leg. Repeat again. Right leg up and out and towards your foot, towards your head. And bring it forward. Okay, now watch me from the front. Same thing again, but I have to show you something. Caught my attention. When you're taking the leg to the side, and then you can now hold your big toe if you want. You don't have to hold the strap. When you're taking this leg to the side, be careful not to let the knee go way out. You see, it's not like Baddha Konasana action. There should be actually, it's similar work you just did when you were doing standing work. Remember when you were grabbing your foot and you were doing this? Remember when I said this has to go from outside here? But there's also should be slight internal rotation now in the thigh. So in other words, what you don't want to do is this.
You don't want to do Baddha Konasana. You want to pull the foot, but also slightly internally rotate the knee, so that the knee doesn't go way out and down. You want the knee to kind of go in a little bit and back. You see, this is the action. Like an archer. This is an archer's pose. Because that when you straighten the top leg, the leg has to be close to your chest, not way out here. Does it make sense? All right, go ahead. Akarna Dhanurasana, once again, first side. Take the right foot in your hand or strap. Take the left leg, you're holding your left foot with your left hand. Lean slightly to the left, pick up your right leg, that's it, Marianne. And then pull the leg in towards your shoulder. Breathe. Flex your foot. Keep looking straight ahead. Bring your foot towards your ear, and then bring your right leg forward again. Release it. Good, sit straight. And then changing sides. The other leg is on the floor. Second leg is up. Again, try not to take your knee way outside. Keep it in close proximity to your chest. That's it, Paddy. Even more back. Pull your leg back. Pull your leg back towards your ear. Touch your ear. Like an archer. And look forward. Keep holding your big toe on the left foot. Breathe. The chest will slightly round. Back will round. That's okay. And release. Dandasana. Sit with the legs straight up in front of you. Now, Paschimottanasana. Both legs remain straight. Raise your arms up overhead. If you want to sit up on one blanket, you can elevate your pelvis. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhaling, go forward. Hold your side feet with each hand. Grab your feet. Lift the sternum forward again. And down you come. Let the chest first, then the chin next, then the forehead come in. Meet your shins. Buttocks move back, so let the buttocks go apart and away from each other and from the feet. And the chest is expanding forward towards your feet. Paschimottanasana, a full pose, classical pose. Let your elbows come apart and flex your elbows out. Maintain even breath. Breathe into your back lungs. And from here, we're going to go into Viparita Karani. So please make yourself quite a nice high lift. Take your 2-3 blankets and double fold them like this. So from this side, if you don't have a bolster, if you have a bolster, just use that. But if you have blankets only, double the blanket and again double it one more time. So you have that kind of like a square, a rectangular, like a block size blanket. Put 2 of them, one on top of each other. Or if you have a thin block, put a thin block on top of the mat first, then the blanket above it. Leave about 3-4 fingers of space between your blankets and the wall, so then they're not completely touching the wall. They need to have a little bit of space there. Then you're going to go ahead and invert the gradient. So go sideways into it. Unless you like to somersault into it, that's fine too. So you want to put your pelvis up on top of the blankets, on top of your lip, and get your sitting bones as close to that wall as you can. Buttock bones should touch the wall essentially, and your heels too. Straighten your legs. Let your arms be bent and elbows in line with your shoulders. Feet actively extending, inner ankles long, outer ankles compacting inward. Relax now the abdominal cavity and the floor of the pelvis. Relax and soften your throat, your back of the neck. Now let your legs come apart. The width between the legs should be similar to Prasarita Padottanasana pose. So it's quite wide, 90-degree angle or slightly more. And then once your legs are wide apart, put your palms and push them against the very top portion of your leg. Push against the legs toward the wall that you're laying against. And keep pressing the front part of parts of your thighs against the wall, keeping the back of the leg fully extended. Look that your ankles don't start sickling in, so keep the inner leg, inner ankle extended still. Feel the space that comes from pushing into your legs, the space that comes into your lower abdominal area, and your lumbar area is being lifted nicely. Stimulate it. It stimulates our kidneys, adrenal work. Good, and then let go of the legs. Stop pushing there, and then take your arms overhead. Palms would face the ceiling now. Let the legs come apart naturally and let them stop wherever they stop. So let the angle widen even more if you want to. And now with the hands supporting the inner corners of your knees, bring your knees apart but feet together into Baddha Konasana at the wall in Viparita Karani. So you're doing Viparita Karani Baddha Konasana. Heels together now, but your toes can stay apart. Keep supporting your inner corner of your knee, that inner flesh of the knee, apart with your fingers in the back of your knee, and then gently start pulling your knees ever so slightly apart from each other, away from the center. So there's an external rotation in the leg, in your femur. Good. And then slowly let the legs return back to upright. Viparita Karani, where we started. Bend your legs with the feet sliding down the wall. Raise slightly your pelvis and pushing the wall away, slide down the bolster so that your pelvis comes onto the floor surface and your head moves further back. Crossing your shins, Sukhasana, simple cross-legged, easy cross-legged with your knees, shins resting on top of the blanket. Now you can put your hands on top of your belly. Relax your belly. And then change the crossing of your legs, placing the other leg on the top and above. Slide your legs out straight, back to not Viparita Karani, but just straighten your legs. And then slide away from the wall further. Push the wall away. Turn to your side to sit up. Bharadvajasana twist is next. So find one of your blankets. And or you can have two of them, one over the other. Depends on how much lift you need under your buttocks. Then elevate your left buttock, left sit bone on the blankets. Take your left leg in first. It's like Sukhasana. And then the right foot over the left arch, like Virasana. So the knees, let the knees be apart on this first one. So your knees will be a little bit loose. The advantage of this one is when your knees are apart, you'll be able to turn deeper and further. See, when my knees are way back, when apart, I'm able to go more out. When the knees are together, the hips are more compact, but the twist is less. So let's start with the knees wider, more loose. Put your right hand behind you, or is it the left hand? Sorry, I said it wrong. Left arm behind you, right arm holds the back of your right palm, is pushing against your left leg. Lift the chest, support yourself with the left arm behind, press with the right hand, rotate your upper back in, lift your right chest up. Right pectoral up. Bring your head to the left, look behind you. But descend your right hip down, right pelvis down. Good, release, come out. Change sides. Now shift yourself to the opposite side of the blanket so that your other buttock is on, the second one is off. Again, legs a little bit more loose today so that you're able to get more rotation without restricting yourself so much with your knees being together. Press down with your back hand and then with the opposite hand, back of the wrist, push against your outer thigh. Maintain the equal extension of both sides of your chest, side rib cage. Notice how one side will tend to contort, the other side will overly extend. Turn, look over your shoulder, look behind you. Good, come back to center, release again. One more time, first side, but now let's tighten the pose a little bit so that your knees are now more in line, more parallel with each hip, right? So now you're not so loosely seated in your Bharadvajasana. And now take your belt, if you need one, and put it on the bicep of your right arm. Bring your left arm around behind you and hold that belt, which is now around the bicep. And then bring that right hand around your outer leg and then try to turn and straighten that right elbow by pressing the arm into the leg, and the forearm of the back arm will press against your kidney band. It will push quite strongly into your back. And as you do that, notice how the right hip will rise, try to minimize the rising of the right hip. Look over your left shoulder. Turn. Bharadvajasana. Twist. Good. Release. Return back to straight legs in front. Dandasana. Briefly. Shift your hips onto the other side of your blanket. One last time. Bharadvajasana with the support. If you don't need the belt, just hold your bicep with your hand behind you. Turn. Your arm can also go between both knees if you can't quite get good grip on the outside of the outer foot and knee. Lift the chest, inhale, turn as you exhale. Try to extend and straighten that arm that you're pushing against your leg. Slide your arm out, forward. Good, and return and release. And then one pose, one counter pose. After all this twist that we just did, put your hands on your slightly behind you. And then from there, you're going to keep our legs bent today at 90 degrees. Press down into the thumb mounds of your hands. Rotate your shoulders back. Remember that Paripurnavasana we just did in the beginning of the class. And then keep the lift of the chest and raise your tailbone, pelvis into a tabletop position. Let your head release back behind you. Keep moving your tailbone in. Press all four corners of your feet into the floor. Take several breaths here. Good. Exhaling, lower yourself down. All right, and then the last thing you're going to do today, before we do Shavasana, is we're going to work a little bit now on our hips. So we're going to lie down and do Supta Padangusthasana 2, position 2. So this is 1, and then this is 1 going lateral, and then this is 2. And then from 2, then we go to 3, right? When we take the leg this way. So let's just go to 2, because we don't have time now to go through all of them. So take your right leg and knee and rotate the knee externally and hold your foot and ankle with your opposite hand. If this is intense, it's challenging, then bend your other leg, right? That will make it more possible. Otherwise, keep the other leg well pressed into the floor. You can also have your extended foot pushing into a wall. Go ahead, make a 90-degree angle in that right leg. Externally rotating it. Watch that the pelvis doesn't become very tilted. Keep your pelvis parallel to the floor. And then as you flex your foot, the bent leg foot, watch that the inner heel is flexed and it's long. It's not collapsed on the inside. The arch of the foot is not collapsing. Dave, so it's bent leg pose, Dave. 90-degree in the knee, yes. Like half pigeon. Pigeon upside down. Good. Release that leg. Switch legs. Going on to the other side now. Bend your other leg. Draw the knee away from you. Draw the foot and ankle toward you. Keep the inner ankle of the bending leg flexed. Flexing in. Flex your toes. Relax your face. Relax your shoulders. If you can, maintain the pressure of the straight leg toward the floor. If you must, let it float a little bit, let it float. The bending leg action is more important right now. Alyssa, push your left knee more away from you and draw your ankle more toward you. So try to make your shin bone parallel with your collarbones, everyone. Shin bone, collarbones, parallel. Equidistant. Good. Release and let that leg go. And now Parivrita Supta Padangusthasana. I left the last beat for the best part for the last. So we're taking the watch how I'm going to take it today. You're going to use the loop belt. Make a small loop, just big enough for one foot to fit and slip inside. Just this big enough. So I'm going to take this right leg into the loop. And then watch, and I'm going to take this strap to the opposite side. Do you see what I did? I pass the strap, so my right leg is up, then I take the strap around my body, underneath my left side ribs, and then I lie down again. So that when I guide my leg to go into the pose, I pull with one hand, and then I support the belt on the other side. So if I turn around, so you can see, what I'm doing is this. I'm taking the leg one way, and the other hand is pulling the belt the other way. Do you see? This elbow is bent. Pay attention to the arch of your foot. Keep it upright. Keep it parallel and equally long on both the sides. The inner and outer arch of your foot. Go ahead. Make that belt around your foot. Right leg is up. Pass the strap under your spine, under your rib cage, from left towards your right. And you're going to hold the strap with your right hand on the other side, while with the left hand, you're going to start slowly guiding the leg towards your left shoulder and down towards the floor. Allow your right hip to come up entirely from the floor. Breathe. Keep the leg straight. That's the only condition I have for you. Don't bend the knees now, neither the right nor the left. And only God knows how far you'll go with the leg straight. Leslie, that's not the one we're doing today. That's lateral. We're going to the other side. Good. Return back to the floor with the right leg. Take it off the loop. Now changing legs. Parivrita, Supta, Padangushtasana. Pass it around your rib cage on the other side now. So now the left leg is going to be going towards your right. You should be holding on one side with one hand and the other side and the other. Ahmed, move the belt from the other side of your back, not from there, from your right ribs. Guide from the right ribs first. You know what I mean? So put the belt, yes, from your right going to the left. Correct. Now lie down. And now guide that. That's it. Raise your leg higher, closer to you. Now with the left arm, pull it the opposite way. It's a nice way to work, isn't it, with the belt like this? Gives you extra support. Good, Patty, that's it. Keep the heels sharp. Keep your heels extended. Active, legs straight, like you're pushing into resistance. You're pushing into a wall or some kind of through thick mud. Think your legs are going through resistance, through a thick environment. They're not just pushing air. Good. Whenever you're ready to let go and call it a day, go ahead and release your leg. Shavasana. That's it, guys. Got nothing else, no more tricks for you for today. Relax, let go, let everything spread out. Let loose, let gravity have you now. If you want anything under your lower legs, under your knees, thighs, place something. Blanket on the bottom of your neck. Look inwards. Go inwards. Become one with your breath now. What does that mean? Being aware of it, being present with the breath, with the process of movement of the air in and out of your lungs. Observe each breath. Notice how the exhalation is naturally faster, shorter than the inhalation. During Shavasana, strive to achieve equality between the inhalation and the exhalation. That will balance your CO2 level and oxygen in your bloodstream, making your nervous system more relaxed, parasympathetic nervous system calmer. Allow the eyes to completely let go of any muscular movement or tension or focus behind them. Letting the eyes absorb into their own space of the eye sockets. So there's no friction also between the skin and the fascia, the first layer beneath the skin that separates the muscles from the outer layer of the body. Allowing the thoughts to fade away into the distant land. So allowing all the kind of brain activity to fall back toward the very core center of our brain, the spinal cortex. Ears relaxed. Tongue, throat relaxed, soft. Just a little bit longer here. Facial features expressionless, completely neutral. Preparing to come out of your Shavasana now. Allow your next several inhalations to grow gradually. Wiggle your toes, fingertips. Whenever you're ready to come out, bend your knees first. Then slowly turn yourself over onto your side to come up. Take your time. Come to seated. Let's chant Om together to close our practice. Take an inhalation. Om. Namaste. Shanti. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Vlad.
Thank you, Vlad.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you. Take care. Have a nice rest of the day. Thanks, Patty. Thanks, everyone, for being there. Great to see you. See you Tuesday, hopefully, at 8 a.m. at LA time. Bye.
Sounds good. Thank you, Vlad.
Bye.
Yeah.
We gotta find out why we get stuck on Arlena.
Sorry.
She's great.
I think she
She's
might have
great,
hacked into the system.
Did you update last Zoom?
Yeah, maybe update your latest Zoom version.
Ayari, maybe you must update your Zoom. When was the last time when you updated your Zoom?
Never.
Maybe never.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's an old version. You have to just go and update it.
Update your version, or if you want, delete it and have a newer version.
Maybe, yeah, in your computer. Try it.
So just download the new version, or how do I
Download that. It will erase the old one.
Normally it updates by itself, but anyway, if it doesn't, just try to uninstall it.
You should close it and open it.
Okay, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.